In this video, I'm going to share with you 12 rules that I've followed in order to build my personal brand from scratch in 2018 to generating multiple millions of dollars as we sit here in 2022. Okay, these aren't going to be things that you read about in most personal branding blogs or personal branding Facebook groups. It's not about banners and taglines and colors. It's about the deeper strategy that goes into engineering and choreographing a personal brand that actually makes money, right? A brand that you can monetize and sell things online. Okay, so if that's of interest to you, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut over to a recording from a live training that I did inside my private Facebook group where I go through each of these. All right, there's going to be a ton of cool stuff in here. If you're currently building a personal brand, and more importantly, you want to build a brand that you can actually profit heavily from. Okay, so we're going to jump over that in a second. Before we do, be sure to subscribe, give this video a like if you get any value from it, and if you're in the personal branding game, I know you will. Head over to jacobkarras.com if you want more information about what we do. If you want to join the private community where I did this live, I go live every week in there to help folks out with extracting an extra 100 grand to $1 million from their personal brand. Different strategies and tactics. You can join the community at jacobkarras.com. But with all that stuff out of the way, let's cut over to the recording and dive into this one. Enjoy. Increasing your personal brand value, and by extension, increasing your perceived personal brand value. Okay, there's a distinction between the two, and it will become more clear as we roll through this. All right, now, before we get into it, I just want to say, I think a lot of people online say things like, I want a brand, I want a business, when really what they're actually looking for is just a method to make money. Okay, they want the well, I'll click here, then I'll click here, and some dollars will appear, right? Or euros or pounds or whatever you're into. And I just have to start by saying that this stuff will serve you no purpose if that's your mentality. This stuff is for people who want to grow their name in a given market over a long period of time. And it's something that, as I've said here, you have to chip away at this each day, right? Like the model we were just walking through. That's not going to happen overnight. It's an ecosystem that you have to build up progressively over time, right? And you guys are sitting here hanging out in my world. You're seeing the iteration, 4 years on from when I started my brand in 2018. So it takes time, okay? Particularly the branding game takes time, but the ROI on it is enormous, okay? So as long as you understand that we're talking about real brand building, real business building, and not just methods of like click here, do this, two very different things. Okay. And so what we're going to talk about is going to allow you to charge more, close sales way more seamlessly, stack multiple streams of income, grow your network, unlock JV opportunities and deals and all that kind of stuff, and kickstart something that I call the brand value flywheel, and we really get that compounding. Okay. When you've got a strong name in a market, everything else becomes easier. Everything else becomes easier. Money will flow to you. Opportunity will flow to you. Leads will flow to you. You can sell stuff that's way more expensive, and life just gets better. Okay. So let's talk about all this stuff. All right. So first things first, expertise. Okay. This is going to be a slightly controversial one. There's a lot of people out there at the moment who are trying to hold themselves out as somebody who does a certain thing when in reality, they don't have that expertise. So the very, very first one, and the very, very simple one, is to continuously increase your depth of knowledge about your chosen subject matter. Okay. It's okay if you're early on, right? But just as you go about creating content and aggressively marketing and trying to sell, you better be also trying to get better and better and better at the thing that you teach. right? At the thing that you want to become known for as. If you stop trying to level up your skills and learn more and experiment more and, question the status quo and just focusing on marketing and selling, and you're not improving, you'll cap out. Okay. So this one's a pretty quick one. Just always focus on getting better at what it is that you do. Right? The second you think you know it all, you're screwed. The second you think that you can't learn anything else, you're screwed. The second you let your ego go, I've got this all figured out, you'll get eaten alive. And I see people who break out in this industry and they might hit 10 grand a month. Ego comes on thick and fast. And they think they've got it all figured out. What they very quickly realize is there's an infinite number of levels beyond that. And a lot of them have to go through quite a humbling experience in order to realize that at 10 grand a month, we know nothing in the grand scheme of things. At 50 grand a month, we know nothing in the grand scheme of things. At 100 grand a month, we know nothing in the grand scheme of things. Because there's all these levels. There's always people ahead of you. There's always people who know more than you. And you have to keep that genuine curiosity about getting better and better and better and continuing to increase your depth of knowledge of your subject matter. Okay? That has to be like a lifetime commitment to just getting better. Right? And so 3 big action steps here. 1, just keep learning, right? Keep buying courses, keep going to events, keep investing in coaching, keep investing in mentors, keep reading. Okay? That's a basic one. That's a simple one. Other things to think about, right? Brainstorm and ask what if so that you can start innovating, right? What if I could do this? Why can't I try that? Ask what if, question the norms, and you can start to innovate within your area of expertise. Just because I tell you something, just because anyone else tells you to do something, that doesn't mean you can't question it. And go, well, what if I want to try it this way? Go try it that way. See what happens. You might find a better way. Okay? And then exploring other areas and considering lateral application. So what I mean by that is looking at other markets, right? What they're doing in other spaces and thinking, how could I bring that back to this game, right? So you guys hear me talk a lot about how we close deals with like PDFs, right? We'll close a 25 grand deal with a 2-page PDF. What I'm actually drawing on there is a lot of what I used to do in the corporate consulting game. We'd close multi-billion-dollar deals with a 2-page summary of terms. And so I came into this game and I'm like, well, why do we have to do a 5-day challenge to close a $2,000 course sale? And the answer is you don't. You don't have to do that. You can, but you don't have to. People would say, you can't close a 20 grand deal online with a 2-page PDF. And I say bullshit. So questioning what if, why not, to innovate and looking at other markets and thinking, how can I bring this across? Is there something they're doing in e-commerce that maybe you could bring and apply to your course business or to your coaching business? Right? Is there something that you see happening in the brick and mortar game that you could bring over? So looking at these other opportunities and thinking, how could I bring them in to mix and match and kind of create a bit of a melting pot? All right. So that's the first one, is just improving your expertise. Okay. You got to commit to that. I'm going to nudge this down onto its own new page. So next one, expert status. Okay. And so where before we were talking about increasing your actual depth of knowledge, here we want to talk about increasing your perceived depth of knowledge. Okay. So you could be the most skilled person in the world at something, but if nobody knows that you are, it's useless. Right? So we actually have to take that expertise and take that skill set and transfer it into how people think about you, how they perceive you. Okay. So this is the next step is once, okay, so I'm actually improving and I'm getting better and I'm becoming more of an expert, but I got to let people know. Okay. I got to let people know. And this can feel weird, right? This can feel weird for people talking about, why I'm so good. So here's a couple of action steps for you on this one. All right. 1, talking about and showing off your results, accomplishments, awards, accolades, repeatedly. I put up a post on my profile when Funnel Hacking Live was happening. A couple of people sent me a photo of like the ground that was covered with all the different people that had won the 2 Comma Club award. And I just put up like a funny post on my profile, right? I said like, oh, it's good to know there's a couple of thousand people walking across my name on the other side of the world, right? 1, it's just a post. Like it is what it is. 2, it just reinforces, hey, I've done this thing, okay? That's talking about it repeatedly. Someone came into the comments and they said, yeah, we know you've already won it. We can see it in your profile picture, okay? So I don't know what their problem is, but clearly a bit, whatever. Doesn't like that they can see that I've won the 2 Comma Club in my profile photo and I'm talking about it again in a Facebook post. That person will never, unless they change that, will never truly increase the perceived depth of their knowledge if they only talk about things they've accomplished once and then never mention it again. You have to keep reinforcing it because 1, people are busy. 2, people are watching a lot of different people. 3, there's always new people coming into your audience, right? And 4, they forget. You have to keep reinforcing it. You look at all the best personal brands, they've got a clear set of things that they talk about, what they've done, what they've achieved, and they do not stop talking about it. You may like that, you may not like that. It's just the reality. If people get offended because you talk about your achievements over and over again, they're not going to pay you. The ones that are going to pay you are the ones that go, that's really cool. I'd like to do that. I want to learn how. And so you have to, kind of move through those people that get pissed off in order to find the ones that want to learn, right? So you cannot be shy about this, right? Modesty will not help. So talk about your results. And they can be small if you're getting started. They can be big if you're further along. Whatever your results are, talk about them, right? I'll show you guys an example. I just started on Twitter like a couple of days ago, right? Had a couple of dudes in my network who've been crushing it. And I was like, well, I should give it a go. I'm at 102 followers. 102 followers. Nothing, right? I put up a screenshot and I said, hello 100 club, right? It's a little milestone. It's nothing big, but it's a little milestone. So share it. The more wins you share, the more wins you get. The bigger your wins will get, the bigger wins you can share. I cannot repeat this enough times. Win small, win bigger, win bigger, win bigger, win bigger. And share it along the way, and the wins will keep compounding. When I first started this group, I had like 10, 15 grand in blogging profits under my belt, and I wanted a place to talk about it. Compound the wins. Okay. As you're rolling, talk about experiments, stories from implementing, situations where you were the hero and others got it very wrong, horror stories about other experts without naming their names, and demonstrate your ability. Okay. What experiments are you trying? Right? What happened? Show that you're a practitioner. Okay. Stories from you actually implementing and doing things. Motion and action is very magnetic. Right? I had someone ask me earlier today about how I, nudge people off the fence in terms of joining Inner Circle. And the people that join Inner Circle are the people who look at me and the business that I built, and they essentially want to be able to model that. They like the way I do things. They want to be able to build an ecosystem of content that does a lot of the selling for them, and they want to close deals in the DMs without, phone team and blah, 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 blah. So they effectively look at my business and they're like, hey, that'd be cool. I wonder if Jacob could help me build that same thing. The best way that I can get the people off the fence that are thinking about joining is by consistently showing up and doing what we do, right? Creating valuable content, helping people, getting results. We keep winning awards, just doing cool shit and having fun in the process. If I can keep doing that using our methodologies, that makes the best, most compelling case for us to work together. And over time, it will knock those people off the fence just by me showing up and doing my thing. Okay. Situations where you've helped people out, others got it wrong, horror stories about other experts, right? You can decide how far you want to take this stuff, but it does work. All right. It does work. Demonstration of ability is you showing that you know your stuff. Okay. And then sharing client results, testimonials, transformations repeatedly. If people get pissed off because you're talking about them, still just block, move on. Those people aren't your people. All right. Is this helpful so far, guys? You getting something out of this? Let me know in the comments. Keep the comments coming. Fire away any questions as we move along. What do you guys think about this so far? All right, let's keep rolling on to number 3. Skills. So before we spoke about knowledge, now we're talking about skills, right? Improve the quality and the scope of what you do and what you can do for clients. All right. You might start out and you might focus in on, hey, I can help you get your first 1,000 group members. Ultimately, that could turn into, I'll help you make $1 million a year. But that happens over time based on your own achievements and accomplishments. So keep leveling up your skills to improve the quality and the scope of what you do with your clients, what you can do with your clients, right? I just told you guys before about when I started this group, the value that I could bring was, well, here's how I made my first 15 grand blogging. Very different to what I do now, right? I've got clients with huge audiences and we're looking at, well, how do we build an offer that can pull us in 500,000, $1 million a year with one offer? But I had to go through the steps to get there. That didn't happen overnight. It's been 4 or 5 years. But it's through the consistent leveling up of my skills through testing, experimenting, documenting results, building more assets, templates, frameworks, intellectual property, right? All stuff that helps us and can help my clients, right? To the point now I can give people a 2-page PDF that we've used to make 500 grand and they can go and use it too. So we keep leveling up the things that we can give to people based on our results that will get them better results. And this is what I'm talking about the flywheel, right? It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay. Innovating through implementation, keeping in motion. All right. And you guys might not see the clear path for you here yet of how you go from where you are now to, 5 years time. And you don't need to. You don't need to. What you do need to do is be nimble and roll with the punches. Right? I didn't have any clue that my business would look like what it looks like now 5 years ago. I just planned the next step and worked on that. And then the next step and worked on that. And then the next step and worked on that. Right? You make those strategic decisions about where am I going to go next? What do I want to do next? What do I hope that unlocks for me? Okay. So that's number 3, skills. So far we've covered continuing to develop your expertise, right? Like your theoretical knowledge, increasing your perceived expertise by actually telling people about all the cool shit that you're achieving, and continuing to improve your skills through action. Okay. So this is about you getting better and better and better at what you do, learning more and more stuff, getting better results, and sharing them with the market, right? If you did that alone, you'll crush it. Do that consistently, you'll crush it. Okay. Most people aren't doing this. Most people aren't consistently getting better. Most people aren't consistently sharing results and cool shit that they're up to. Most people aren't continuing to learn. They cap out. They just stop. They think they know it all. Okay. So first 3 about just getting better and better at your craft and telling people about the cool shit that you're up to as a result of getting better and better at your craft. Pretty simple. All right. Let's shift gears a little bit. Number 4, productivity. Okay. Improve the quantity of what you get done. So up here, we're improving the quality of our work, right? Our depth of knowledge, what we can do with people. We're sharing that. Now we want to dial up our productivity so that we can get more of that better work done. Okay? Because if you take your skill level from here to here, and at the same time you take your productivity from here to here, you're now producing way more quality. And that's what you need. Okay? Couple of action items. I know we're moving quickly. You guys can revisit this. I want to get this all on the table for you. And you guys can go and digest it in your own time. 1, time chunking. If you don't already run a calendar, even if you're early days and there's nothing in it, start running a calendar. Start putting your social events in a calendar. Start putting your family commitments in your calendar, your work, and your business. Start running to a calendar. I wanted to add this weekly live in, moved a couple of things around. Now it's in there every week. And it's in there. I do it. So start running a calendar if you aren't already. Okay. Turn off all your notifications. The only notifications that I get on my phone are Stripe. That's it. Everything else is turned off. Take that one step further. If you want to, get your phone, put it on the other side of the room. That will make a huge difference. You'd be shocked at having this here, how many times you pick it up, restart, pick it up, restart. Get rid of it if you can't control yourself, okay? And have times when nobody can access you. Even if it's 20 minutes a day, lock your door and just have you working time. I'm rolling out a new written content repurposing system and working with the VAs on getting them to do the distribution of it. And so this morning, I wanted to see, how quickly can I do this? I wrote a post, recorded some pairing audio to go with it, and had it scheduled to go out across a bunch of different places in about 40 minutes. All right. If you do that every day, 40 minutes a day, you'll grow an audience and you'll sell stuff. You don't need huge amounts of time. You need focused time. Okay. Number 3, and this is going to be more for the people who are full-time, day-based task blocking. Okay. It's a big name. So I have my calendar Monday and Fridays always clear, right? For a couple of reasons. 1, I like to start and end the week on my own accord, right? Like I don't like to be, starting a Monday morning coaching somebody else. I like to focus on my own stuff and get ahead for the week. Okay. The other thing is we do a bit of weekend travel. And so if I want to, I can have those days clear of needing to be on calls and stuff like that. So I bookend my week with clear days, Monday and Friday. Tuesdays and Wednesday afternoons, I do one-to-one calls when they pop up, right? I've got a couple of ongoing one-to-one clients, do some one-to-one calls with my inner circle members. Any ad hoc, people can go buy a call on my website for $1,000 an hour. Any of those pop up, they happen in that window. Okay. Thursdays, my inner circle call, my time, Wednesday for most of them, Wednesday night. And then Friday's clear. Right. So chunking out days based on what you want to do. Okay. That's been a big one for me. Aligning certain days to certain tasks. Let's keep rolling. Keep hitting me up in the comments, guys. What are you guys thinking? Questions, disagreements, whatever you reckon. Efficiency. Okay. So up here, we're talking about chunking our time. Then within that time, how do we get more efficient? So increase the speed with which we do things. You can see how these stack on top of each other. We're improving our expertise. We're improving our skill set. We're telling more people about it so that the public knows, hey, I'm good at this thing. Now we're allocating our time better. Now within that time, we're getting faster. So through consistency, we're creating more and more higher quality work output. You can see how when you layer all these things together, it's hard not to produce bigger and bigger and bigger results. Okay. A couple of action items here. Documenting systems and procedures that others can follow. Okay. If you want to start outsourcing, Loom is your friend, right? Loom video, everything. And you can very rapidly take stuff off your plate. Templates, frameworks, processes that you can quickly redeploy for yourself and clients. Right? Post structures, offer documents, messenger scripts. It makes life easier for you. It makes life easier for your team if you bring them on. It makes life easier for your clients. So actually documenting stuff. The cool thing in the information game is when you document stuff, you're building assets, right? When you invest the time into actually creating something, it's an asset that you can use over and over again, right? Because I've got this document, I can deliver what I think is a pretty good presentation on this topic whenever I want or need to. So building these assets means that I can create with more velocity. Okay. And then just eliminating the inverse of that, eliminating stuff that's not helping. Okay. I want to pause there for a second. What do you guys reckon so far? What do you think about these first 5 that we've covered? Let me know in the comments. What do you think the biggest one for you right now that you need to work on? Is it more expertise? Is it more perceived expertise by being louder about what you're doing and accomplishing? Is it improving your skill sets? Is it productivity, or is it efficiency? Which one is the biggest one that you feel like you need to work on right now? Or a couple? Let me know in the comments. I want to see what you guys are, how this is hitting for you. Any questions that are coming out of this? If you don't see how you can apply it, sharing results is a big one for me. How often do you repeat talking about your results? Daily, weekly? There's no set time, man. There's no set time. I mean, would I make a post about the same result every day for a week? No. But the goal is to get more and more results. I would be wanting to mention, client results at least weekly at the minimum. Or your results, at least, there's a bit of construction going on. At least, a couple of times a week. But the thing is, you don't have to just do a post on I achieved this result, right? you can weave it in to other content. You can weave it in to a story, right? You can weave it into a value-based piece of content where you're talking about how to do something, and you can say, we use this to achieve blank, right? So you don't just have to do here's what I've achieved type post or piece of content. It can be weaved into other things. Okay, sorry about that background noise if that's picking up for you guys. They've started drilling upstairs. Time chunking and focusing and skill set. Yep. So skill set's going to be a constant evolution, right? Just keeping on improving and stacking them. Time chunking and focusing you can do pretty quickly, right? It's what are the major things that I want to accomplish and putting blocks in your calendar for when you're going to get them done and then sticking to it. Okay. Perceived expertise for me. Yeah, John, I mean, I think that's a big one for a lot of people. It's becoming comfortable with talking about the people you've helped and how you're helping them consistently, right? And a good way to get over the I'm not saying that this is for you, but a good way to feel comfortable doing it more and more is turning it into a bit of a story, right? I think it's easy to fall into the trap of like, oh, I got a screenshot testimonial from someone and just posting that, and that's okay to do. But if you can also pair that with a lesson for people, you can also pair that with, well, how did they actually achieve it, right? Such that there's a takeaway. I did a piece of content yesterday about a message I got from a client saying this was the easiest sale we ever made, right? And I didn't just say, oh, I just had a client message me telling me that I helped them make the easiest sale they've ever made. You know, pay me if you want that too. I broke down, well, here's what they were doing. Here's what we changed. Here's what they're doing now. And here's why it was the easiest sale that they ever made. So you can take a testimonial and turn it into something of value for people by going more into the how-to, right? Need to improve on all of them, sharing what I'm doing with my audience. Yeah, that just comes down to, you know, just documenting and creating every single day. Yeah. Good with time management and productivity. Well, that's good because then you start doing the right things and you'll be doing them quickly and at scale. Cool. Many days I need to get myself up for doing meaningful content that's specific and not general. Yeah. What you want to do if there's roadblocks to creation, you want to find ways to eliminate what's holding you back, right? So if it's you sit down and you just don't have any ideas, start an ideas file and start aggressively building that out so that when you sit down, you've got an infinite list of ideas and you can just create, right? Or if it's the distribution, once you've created it, because it takes ages, think, how can I make this faster? Can I pay a VA, a nominal amount to do this for me? How can I eliminate roadblocks to making this happen consistently? All right. I just told you guys I'm working on a new kind of content repurposing thing. I can do it myself in about 20 minutes, but I'd rather hand that off to somebody else. So I'll develop it and then I'll give it to them to run. Because otherwise, that would be a roadblock to me making that happen, because at 20 minutes a day doing like admin work, I'm just not going to stick with it. My time is better spent doing other things. So pay attention to what's holding you back or what's slowing you down and think, how can I eliminate those individual things? Isn't it Murphy's Law? You go live and they start bloody doing construction. So let's keep rolling. Okay. Number 6, effectiveness. All right. This is pretty simple. Get better and better at what you do. Right. And you can reference some of the points we did above. Okay. Organization, multiplication, leverage, right? Identify outsourcing opportunities to hand off, training people to help you out, right? Leveraged offers, selling other people's time and arbitraging, having people to work for you, right? How can you take yourself and clone yourself? Okay. The reason I hang out on here and do a live teaching something, right? One, everyone hanging out with me live gets value. Two, I've now got a recording where I'm talking about this thing and I can repurpose it, right? That's one example. Same with leveraged offers. I can show up and coach 30 people on a topic instead of needing to do it one-to-one, right? So if you want to reach more people, you want to help more people, you want to make more money, you need to be looking for ways to multiply yourself and get more leverage at every opportunity, okay? Jamie, what's going on, mate? No, you can go back and watch the replay, sir. Cool. Number 8, influence. Increasing your capacity to influence others' actions, right? Help you move towards your goals, time, connections, and buying. Okay. So how do we influence? This could be, a 3-week intensive in itself, but let's try to shoot through some of these quickly. Okay. Number 1, confidence in yourself, your brand, your products, your abilities, your results, and your delivery. Okay. The more confident you got the internal and the external, right? The internal being confidence in yourself. Okay. I think where you can really develop confidence in yourself is by setting targets and hitting them, setting goals and hitting them. You learn to trust yourself more. Every time you tell yourself that you're going to do something and you don't do it, or you set a target and you either move away from it or keep kicking it down the road, I think you trust yourself less and less. So setting targets and starting to hit them consistently, you'll build confidence in your own ability. Okay. On the flip side, confidence in your products, confidence in the results you can help people get, confidence in your delivery, that's all going to grow through consistent execution, consistent leveling up of your skills and expertise, all that kind of stuff. All right. Confidence is very, very attractive to people, and it will allow you to have a lot more influence and be a lot more magnetic, right? If you're uncertain, why would people pay you? Right? People pay for confidence. Confidence in your advice, confidence in direction, confidence in your skills. And like with the expertise, there's actual confidence and then there's perceived confidence. You might be 100% confident in yourself, but if the time comes to get on camera, you're like hiding and all shy and refuse to look at people or have any strength in your voice when you deliver, what's the point? They're not going to believe you. So you've got actual confidence in yourself, and then how do you come across? Trying to improve that. Okay. Becoming desirable to your target audience in as many ways as possible. All right. Results, lifestyle, status, accomplishments, connections, and network. Results we've spoken about. Your results of people that you're working with. Lifestyle. All right. If you're selling something about achieve this outcome, but you've got that outcome and you're miserable, why the fuck would they pay you? So if you need to change something in your own life so that you come across as a happier, more confident, more fulfilled person, probably think about it. Right? Status, we've kind of spoken about that, but I think we might go into that a little bit further. Who do you associate with? How do you present and show up? High status, low status. Accomplishments. What have you achieved? Who have you helped? Constantly bumping that up, right? That's a repeated theme. Connections and network. Who's in your network? Who do you associate with? Why do you reckon you see people put up photos of all the famous people they've met? Status, connections, and network. Status by association. I'll literally have people who join Inner Circle and they'll get clients shortly after they join Inner Circle because they joined Inner Circle. Because people say, hey, you're in Jacob's Inner Circle. I'm not trying to sound arrogant. That bumps up their perceived value as a brand. Okay. So always aiming to elevate that. Being a person with clear views, beliefs, perspectives based on your experience. Okay. I show up here. I show you guys stuff based on my experiences, based on what's worked for me. I show you the model, the 3 phases we touched on at the start. That's what I've done. You may agree, you may disagree, you may want to go down a different path. That's fine. All I can show you is what's worked for me. And that's what you need to do with your people. Okay? Transparency and authenticity. This flows into everything, right? I was on a call this morning with a client, and I was talking to them through a messenger conversation, and I was showing them how, like I'll openly come out and say, for selfish reasons, here's why I want to do this. Here's why I want you as a client. Here's why I want to work with you. Just opening up about it. And it's very disarming. Right? People that shy away from the fact that they sell stuff like it's a bad thing. I'm open with you all. I'd love to work with you all at some point if it's the right fit. I want to sell you things. There's no hiding that. If it's right for you, right? I don't want to sell you things if it's not, because that's going to be a pain in the ass for me and it's not going to work for you. So what's the point? Right? Authenticity. It's easier said than done for some people. Just be you. Right? Don't change gears when you write content, right? And this takes time to find your voice. But, just be you. Number 5, we're talking about influence here. Getting people to change their actions and achieving a result. Okay? I had a question come in from someone recently, and it said, how can you give away so much on YouTube channel, for example, and still get clients? That's a whole nother conversation. But one of the reasons is because if I can get them to take that content, do something, and get a result, I'll have a client for life. A client for life. So how can you change people's actions? Right? Or how can you change their perceptions, change their perspectives? McCool put a post up in the group yesterday about a topic I was talking about on the live last week that set off a light bulb for him about energy into assets, into money. And now that came from Travis for me. Right? How can you change people's actions and their perceptions? Personality, style, expertise. Okay, all that kind of stuff. We don't need to revisit that. All right. Who's getting something out of this? What's your biggest takeaway so far? Jamie, mate, I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well too, bud. What's your biggest takeaway so far, guys? Let me know in the comments before we roll on. I'll pause here quickly, scroll back up to the top, and remember, this isn't going to happen overnight. This takes time to build. And I can promise you, because I've been in this game for long enough now, 99% of people aren't thinking about this stuff and definitely aren't strategically doing this stuff. They're bumbling around and just there's no thought behind it. They're not even aware of most of this shit. So become obsessed with it and it'll pay you very, very well. Find my voice. I missed the beginning. You can go back and watch it. Replay will be in the group. Being consistent and coming across confident. Authenticity is everything. Correct. Okay, cool. All right, let's keep rolling. Relationships. Expand the network of influential people you know and who know you inside and outside of your immediate market. On the call this morning, I was saying to the guys that I cannot impress enough on every single person that I come across in this game who wants my help, that in a nutshell, if you show up and build relationships every day, relationships with people, quote unquote, above you, mentors, relationships with people, I don't say below you in a derogatory sense. I say below you in terms of they're in your audience and they're kind of under your, purview, so to speak. You build relationships across the board, you'll be fine. Sales opportunities will open up. JV opportunities will open up. And you don't need many really strong relationships for some cool shit to happen, right? You've probably heard, me and Jamie talk about the story of how we connected and look at what's happened. That all started with a beer invitation. We had a coffee. We didn't have a beer, but crazy shit can happen. Relationships. Network online, attend events, pay to join masterminds. I've developed 2 particularly strong connections out of being in Travis's mastermind outside of the relationship I've built with Travis, with 2 people who are both awesome at what they do and awesome people, right? And that's not that the other people aren't. It's just that these are the 2 people that I've connected closely with. We've done calls. They've come and spoken to my people. I'm sure we'll meet up when either of us are traveling. If nothing else had come out of that mastermind, no content, no calls, no coaching, and all I got out of it was those 2 connections, it's worth 10 times the investment. One JV with either of those people at some point in the future, hundreds of thousands, if not $1 million plus. Insanely powerful. Okay, leveling up that network and your relationships every day. And when you're earlier on, sometimes this means just giving it a go and sending out a message to someone and seeing what happens. All right. See if you can get them in your group for an interview. What's the worst they can say is no or ignore you. Too bad. Who cares? You tried, right? Better to have tried than not tried. 10, celebrity status. How well known you are and how highly regarded you are by the people who know you. How can you become a bit of a celebrity in your market? Success stories, results and awards, personality and views, experimentation and innovation, showing up consistently and documenting your journey. I've had people who were in this group in 2018, disappeared, never watched my stuff, come back this year and go, holy shit, you're still going. Except when they last looked at my stuff, it was like this dude running home from work at lunch doing a live about how he made a couple of sales blogging. And now we're talking about, well, here's how you can add $1 million to your personal brand. Shit's evolved. That's years of consistency and documenting the journey. Here's how we went from here to here to here to here to here to here to here. Expanding your channels and touch points as you grow. How do we get more people into the fold without overcomplicating things, without skyrocketing our workload? How can we repurpose? How can we leverage our audience to expand our network, right? I can go into Jamie's group and do a training. He can come in here and do a training. We cross over audiences, all that kind of stuff. Continuing to try and become more and more known in your market for certain things. Okay. Reputation. This is a big one. This word doesn't get spoken about enough, but this is key. Stories about yourself, your clients, your programs, your life, your results, your status, your network. Stories, stories, stories. If I don't tell you guys what I'm doing, what I've achieved, who I'm helping, who's going to? Right? Maybe a couple of my really hardcore fans and followers. Either build your own reputation or other people will make assumptions about you. And they may not be assumptions that you want. What's the best way to document your journey without doing video content? I don't know. Does the question mean what type of content to create? As in, will your options would be written or audio? My brand, for the most part, has been built without video. I've done YouTube along the way, but the channel's tiny. It's mostly just through written. You can build it. You can build it in and document it in any way that you want. It's about the substance behind it. What are you sharing? What results have you achieved? Who have you helped? Doesn't matter if you write a post or do video. People connect with video in a different way, but these are just tools. A phone is just a tool to make a sale. A PDF is just a tool to make a sale. A funnel is just a tool to make a sale, right? A Facebook post is just a tool to communicate a message. A video is just a tool to communicate a message. A podcast is just a tool to communicate a message. They all work. What matters is the message that you're communicating. The best way to document the journey is using the tool that you can be most consistent with, that you can show up every day and create. Right? Talk about stuff that gets other people to talk about you to their audience. Cool stuff that you've done. Stuff that people are like, holy shit, how is that possible? Or when people come to me and go, hey, were you the guy that did 100 grand in a day with KBB? Yeah. That's like a holy shit type thing. Right? Or are you the guy that helps people close 20 grand deals without getting on the phone? Yeah, we can do that. And some of this may seem really far away for some of you, but it is all in the future if you keep building this progressively. Keep leveling up your wins, your social proof, your results, and share them along the way. They don't have to be financial wins if you're earlier on. Like I just said, I started on Twitter. I put up a post. I got my first 100 Twitter followers. It's not huge, but it's a win. Who cares how big it is? Just share it. You're doing stuff. That action, motion, momentum is very, very magnetic. And it will lead to bigger and bigger opportunities, bigger and bigger wins if you keep at it. Keep evolving your story and sharing it across different platforms. It's pretty common. All right, we're at number 12. Then we've got a couple of bonus ones. Okay. Vision. What do you see in the market that others miss? Where are you taking your business, your clients, your followers? You guys will see me talk about, this is where I see this heading. This is where I see that heading. That's why we do this. I think this is going to change, right? One of the things I've been talking a lot about is building an ecosystem, because I think people are going to continue to want to consume more and more before they make a purchasing decision or hear more. I don't want to have to do that one-to-one in the DMs. I don't want to have to do that one-to-one on a phone call. I want my content and my ecosystem of written stuff, video stuff, audio stuff to build those relationships for me over days, weeks, months, years, however long the individual prospect wants to take to consume. And then they just hit me up when they're like, hey, I'm ready to go. Sweet, let's do it. I think that's where the market's going, right? That's why I say build an ecosystem of content. That's why I say have a community. So you can build those relationships at scale without you needing to hold every person's hand individually through the process. Keep refining your vision of where you're going, right? And bring people along. You guys will see me shift and change direction and not fully pivot, but we were doing this. Now we're trying this. You guys see that all along the way, right? And I tell you, as I do things, right? We just updated our website. We've got all of our products listed on there now, right? I didn't have that previously. They were kind of available ad hoc or would do a launch. And then I kind of thought, fuck it, they're assets, right? If people want to buy stuff, let them buy it. You guys can go to jacobkarras.com. You'll see we've got a bunch of products listed on there. Go spend some money, right? It's just a change. I'll let you guys know. Don't be afraid to course correct, adjust your visions of where you're going, right? This group started out as an affiliate marketing group. Now it's much broader than that because I've changed, I've grown, I've evolved. I had to. I needed new things to take on. All right. So where do you see things going? Talk about that. Have the confidence to put a stake in the ground and say, this is what I think is going to happen. Who cares if you're wrong? Being a leader is very magnetic. Leaders are the ones that get paid. It's better to be a leader and to be wrong than to be constantly looking at what everybody else is doing and following around like a good little boy or girl. Every single person can step into some form of leadership, regardless of where you're at now. Okay. A couple little bonus ones. Perceived productivity. Manage the supply of your time by appearing to be a busy person who gets a lot done and is not to have his or her time wasted, plus gets paid a lot for their time. Okay. The key to being perceived this way is just to generally have a lot of stuff going on that's fun and that you enjoy. I don't mean aimlessly fill up your calendar. I mean, just do fun and cool stuff in your business and you'll want to be busy. You'll want stuff happening because it's enjoyable. You're getting paid. You're helping people. You're building connections. You're building relationships. You're doing JVs. Okay. More tactically, don't show a fully open calendar. Block off times for people to book in calls on your terms, right? As I said, my one-to-ones, Tuesday, Wednesday afternoons. That's when I do my one-to-ones. Even my clients that are paying 15, 20, 25 grand, they have to book it in that window. Right? Set boundaries. Respond to things on your terms. All that kind of stuff. All right. Personality protection. This stuff's getting a bit advanced, but I'll share it with you guys anyway if you guys want to hear it. If you've got personality traits that you think might leave you exposed or a bit vulnerable to having people waste your time, take advantage of your good nature, I want you to dial up opposing personality traits. Right? Like if you're a massive people pleaser who just wants to make every person happy, never wants to offend anybody, wants to talk to everybody, is happy to jump on, 3 calls for 3 hours because someone paid you $5, that's probably something that you need to dial up this personality protection and be conscious of. Okay. If you bend your boundaries, why are you doing it? Okay. And you can course correct your brand along the way. But this takes a certain level of self-awareness about who you are and what you do and why you do things. So it's a bit more advanced, but worth thinking about. What happens that pisses you off, right? And then how do you engineer your brands to protect yourself from that? Value lens. Dial up your value lens to realize what you do is way more valuable than what you're currently charging, so you can consistently increase your prices with confidence. Okay. Someone might say $3,000 a month is a lot. It's 36 grand a year. If your value lens is how much stuff do I get? How many videos do I get? How many groups do I get? How many coaches do I get? How many coaching calls do I get? How much one-to-one time do I get with Jacob? If that's your value lens and you're trying to derive value from those types of things, yeah, maybe it is a lot. But on the flip side, if you've got a $3,000 product, we can work together for $3,000 a month, all I have to do is help you sell one more a month and you break even. Which I'd be pretty confident I can help you do. So shift up your value lens, okay? Look at the outcomes, what's possible versus what you charge, right? I'll say this in a lot of our copy. One sale, you're in the green. And then you've got this strategy, this tactic, this framework, this resource to use over and over and over and over again. Infinite upside. Look at how easy it is for people to get their investment back if they do the work. SAA, the course, is $1,500. It's about high ticket affiliate marketing. People do the work and get one sale, not of any high ticket product. They're ahead. The ROI on information is insane. Okay. People aren't paying you for your time, but rather your experiences, your wins, your losses, your investments. People will say, how can you possibly charge $1,000 an hour, going up to $2,000 an hour very soon? Because I've been in this game for 5 years, blood, sweat, and tears, have spent endless nights trying to figure this out. And I can look at your offer, I can tweak something up, and you can go and make 50 grand. If that's not worth $1-2 grand for an hour, and you don't see that, that's fine. But it is.